Welcome back, everybody. These are the films that we love, the best films of 1959. What a decade the 50s were. We're now rounding up all the films of 1959. We got some horror, thriller, comedy, romance, drama, crime, war, adventure, action. We have it all. So let's go ahead and sit down, relax. Let's check out all the films, the best films of 1959. A Summer Place, Drama and Romance. A self-made businessman rekindles a romance with a former flame, while their two teenage children begin a romance of their own, with drastic consequences for both couples. A Summer Place will not disappoint. Let's check out A Summer Place. Next up we have is Al Capone, biography, crime, and drama. A chronicle of the rise and fall of Chicago crime boss Al Capone during the Prohibition era, featuring the legendary Rod Steiger. This man can act. He's one of the best actors of all time. Rod Steiger is awesome. Elias Jesse James, comedy and western, featuring Bob Hope and Rhonda Fleming. Outlaw TJ Jesse James tries to kill insurance agent Milford, who has been mistaken for him in order to collect on a big policy. Elias Jesse James. You want to laugh? Check that movie out. The Alligator People. Horror, mystery, and sci-fi. A woman in a hypnotic state recounts to two doctors the details of a horrific experience from her past life that began with the mysterious and sudden disappearance of her husband. The Alligator People. Nerve-shattering terror. Anatomy of a Murder. Drama and mystery. An upstate Michigan lawyer defends a soldier who claims he killed an innkeeper due to the temporary insanity after the victim raped his wife. What is the truth? And will he win his case? Anatomy of a Murder. The Atomic Submarine, sci-fi thriller. Ships mysteriously disappear en route across the Arctic Sea, and a specially equipped submarine is sent to investigate. Sci-fi thriller, The Atomic Submarine. Next up we have is Beast from Haunted Cave. Crime, horror, and thriller. A group of gold thieves pull off a heist and flee into the snowy wilderness, only to be pursued by a horrible spider-like monster. Beast from Haunted Cave. This movie is scary, a lot of kills and jump scares. Ben-Hur. Adventure drama. After a Jewish prince is betrayed and sent into slavery by a Roman friend in 1st century Jerusalem, he regains his freedom and comes back for revenge. Ben-Hur, adventure and drama, one of the greatest films of all time. Black Orpheus, drama, musical, and romance. A retelling of the Orpheus and Eurydice myth, set during the time of the carnival in Rio de Janeiro. Black Orpheus. Original title, Orfeo Negro. But Not For Me, comedy and romance. Without a new play and money, a 55-year-old Broadway theater producer retires. But when fired, his 22-year-old secretary says she loves him. But not for me. You want to laugh? Have a good time? Watch this movie. Cash McCall. James Garner and Natalie Wood. Drama and romance. James Garner put in a winning performance as a similarly unreconstructed capitalist in the grip of merger mania. Cash McCall. Drama and romance. City of Fear. A city in terror. Chills for millions. Crime, drama, and thriller. A vicious killer escapes from San Quentin with a canister of what he believes to be heroin, but is actually a radioactive substance that threatens all of Los Angeles. City of Fear. Compulsion. Biography, crime, and drama. Two wealthy law students go on trial for murder in this version of the Leopold Leb case. I know what we did, because we damn well felt like doing it. Compulsion. The truth about Fidel Castro Revolution. This is a documentary. Documentary shot during the Cuban Revolution. The truth about Fidel Castro Revolution. If you like history, you'll love this movie. Next up we have is Darby O'Gill and the Little People. I love this movie. Adventure, family, and fantasy. A wily old conjurer matches wits with the king of the leprechauns and helps play matchmaker for his daughter and the strapping lad who has replaced him as a caretaker. Darby O'Gill and the Little People. The Diary of Anne Frank. Biography, drama, and family. During World War II, a teenage Jewish girl named Anne Frank and her family are forced into hiding in the Nazi-occupied Netherlands. The Diary of Anne Frank. Such a sad, sad story. Espresso Bongo. Sleazy talent agent Johnny Jackson discovers teenager Burt Rudge singing in a coffee house. Despite Burt's protestation that he really is only interested in playing bongos. Drama and music. Next up we have is Face of the Fugitive. Drama and Western with Fred McMurray. A robber who is falsely accused of murdering a deputy sheriff tries to start a new life in a border town near Mexico, but his past catches up to him. Next up we have is First Man into Space. The picture that leaps ahead of the headline. Drama, horror, and sci-fi. The first pilot to leave Earth's atmosphere lands, then vanishes, but something with a craving for blood prowls the countryside. First Man into Space is scary. Gangster story. Crime, drama, and thriller. Hoodlum Jack Martin is on the lam and robs a small-town bank, which brings the local cops and local crime boss into the mix. Crime, drama, and thriller. Gangster story. Gidget. Comedy, drama, and romance, and family. A young girl discovers surfing and love, in that order, during one transitive summer. Gidget. You'll love this movie, as also a projected Sally Field popularity in the TV show Gidget. Next up we have is Go, Johnny, Go. Drama, music, and romance. Rock and roll promoter Alan Freed holds a talent search to develop a new rock star, then must find the elusive mystery contestant who doesn't know he has won. Go, Johnny, go. Go, go, Johnny, go. Good day for a hanging. After claiming his daughter's childhood sweetheart killed, the marshal, one man finds himself in conflict with his daughter, his fiancée, and many of the townsfolk. Good day for a hanging. Fred McMurray and Maggie Hayes. Fred McMurray was very popular back in the 50s. Last Train from Gun Hill. Drama and Western. A marshal tries to bring the son of an old friend and autocratic cattle baron to justice for his role in the rape and murder of the marshal's Native American wife. And Happy Anniversary. Wait till you see Happy Anniversary. Comedy. A happily married father of two who hates TV brings a wedding anniversary gift for his wife with the desire of a romantic interlude. David Niven and Mitzi Gaynor, Happy Anniversary. The Headless Ghost. Comedy and horror. Three teenagers encounter a ghost who is in limbo until he retrieves his lost head. They do their bit to help him find it. Comedy and horror. The Headless Ghost will not disappoint. High School, Big Shot. Marv needs money. His unemployed dad is so poor that he makes Marv give up half his last $6 so they can both go on a $3 date. He just lost his scholarship and get in a car. High School, Big Shot. You'll love it. The Horse Soldiers. Adventure, drama, and romance. In 1863, a Union outfit is sent behind Confederate lines in Mississippi to destroy enemy railroads, but a captive Southern belle and the unit's doctor cause friction within ranks. House on Haunted Hill. Crime, horror, mystery, and thriller. A millionaire offers $10,000. This is a lot back then. The five people who agree to be locked in a large, spooky rented house overnight with him and his wife. Who wouldn't want to do that for $10,000? Who comes out alive? I'm Alright, Jack. Comedy. A naive aristocrat in search of a career becomes caught up in the struggles between his pro-minded uncle and an aggressive labor union. I'm Alright, Jack. Peter Sellers. Next up we have is the classic Imitation of Life. Drama. An aspiring white actress takes in an African-American widow whose mixed-race daughter is desperate to be seen as white. Imitation of Life. Sandra Dee, Adana Hurley, and Susan Kohner. Next up we have is It Happened to Jane. Doris Day. Comedy and romance. Jane Osgood runs a lobster business which supports her two young children. Railroad staff inattention ruins her shipment, so with her lawyer George, Jane sues Harry Foster. It Happened to Jane. Doris Day, Jack Lemmon, and Ernie Kovacs. John Paul Jones. Action biography and mystery. The career of Revolutionary War naval hero from his youth in Scotland through his service to Catherine the Great of Russia. John Paul Jones. Next up we have his Journey to the Center of the Earth. Adventure, family, and fantasy. An Edinburgh professor and assorted colleagues follow an explorer's trail down an extinct Icelandic volcano to the Earth's center. Journey to the Center of the Earth. Next up we have is The Killer Shrews. Horror and sci-fi. On an isolated island, a small group of people are terrorized by giant voracious shrews in the midst of a hurricane. The Killer Shrews. Next up we have is The Man Who Could Cheat Death. Drama, horror, and sci-fi. The Man Who Could Cheat Death. A centurion artist and scientist in 1890 Paris maintains his youth and health by periodically replacing a gland with that of a living person. The Man Who Could Cheat Death. How would you like to live forever, but you have to kill people to survive? Never So Few. Drama and war. During World War II, the American OSS mounts covert operations with the native Chechen against the Japanese army in the jungles of Burma. Never So Few. North by Northwest. Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint, and James Mason. Action, adventure, and mystery. A New York City advertising executive goes on the run after being mistaken for a government agent by a group of foreign spies. North by Northwest is an excellent movie. The Nun Story. Drama. After leaving a wealthy Belgian family to become a nun, Sister Luke struggles with her devotion to her vows during crisis, disappointment, and World War II. Audrey Hepburn in The Nun Story. Next up we have is the feature film Odds Against Tomorrow. Crime, drama, and thriller. In need of quick money, a fallen former cop recruits a hard-bitten ex-con and a debt-ridden nightclub singer to pull off a bank job. Odds Against Tomorrow. Harry Belafonte. This movie is great. Check it out. On the Beach. Drama, romance, and sci-fi. After a global nuclear war, the residents of Australia must come to terms with the fact that all life will be destroyed in a matter of months. On the Beach will not disappoint. Kind of spooky and like a thriller. Operation Petticoat. Cary Grant and Tony Curtis. Comedy, romance, and war. During World War II, a commander finds himself stuck with a decrepit and pink submarine, a con man executive officer, and a group of army nurses. Operation Petticoat will leave you in stitches. Pickpocket. Crime and drama. Michelle passes the time by picking pockets, careful to never be caught despite being watched by the police. Pickpocket. Crime and drama. Next up we have is a comedy, Pillow Talk. Tony Randall, Velma Ritter, Doris Day, and Rock Hudson. An interior decorator and a Playboy songwriter share a telephone party line and size each other up. Pillow talk. Next up we have is Shake Hands with the Devil. Action, drama, and history. In 1920s Ireland, IRA members are being led by the warmongering Dr. Sean Lenihan as they fight oppressive British forces. Shake Hands with the Devil, featuring James Cagney. Terror is a Man. Horror, romance, and sci-fi. A mad scientist transforms a panther into a man-like creature that escapes and goes on a murderous rampage. Terror is a Man. A lot of jump scares and kills. Next up we have is The Hanging Tree. Character study of a doctor who saves a local criminal from a mob who are trying to hang him, but then tries to control the life of the young man, realizing that he can exploit his secret. The Hanging Tree. Gary Cooper. This movie is good. Next up we have is The Mating Game. Comedy and romance. An uptight IRS agent is ordered to investigate a rural family in debt to the government. But the family, including lovely daughter Mariette, help him loosen up. The Mating Game. Debbie Reynolds, Tony Randall, and Paul Douglas. Return of the Fly. Philippe Delambre, the now adult son of the Fly, does some transportation experimentation of his own. This thing has a life of its own. Maybe you should get a life of your own before it's too late. Okay? Next thing we have is Rio Bravo, drama and western. A small town sheriff in the American West enlists the help of a disabled man, a drunk, and a young gunfighter in his efforts to hold in jail the brother of the local bad boy. Rio Bravo, Dean Martin, John Wayne, and Ricky Nelson. This movie is a scorcher. Room at the Top, drama and romance. An ambitious young accountant plots to wed a wealthy factory owner's daughter, despite falling in love with a married older woman. Room at the Top. This movie is a scorcher. Wait till you see it. Next thing we have is Shake Hands with the Devil. Action, drama, and history. In 1920s Ireland, IRA members are being led by the warmongering Dr. Sean Lenihan, James Cagney, as they fight oppressive British forces. If you like James Cagney, you're going to love Shake Hands with the Devil. Sleeping Beauty, one of the greatest animations of all time. Animation, adventure, and family. After being snubbed by the royal family, a malevolent fairy places a curse on a princess, which only a prince can break, along with the help of 3 good fairies. Some Like It Hot, comedy, musical, and romance. After 2 male musicians witness a mob hit, they flee the state in an all-female band disguised as women, but further complications set in. Some Like It Hot. Season of Passion. 2 Australian sugarcane cutters spend their annual 5-month vacations in Sydney with their mistresses. Season of Passion. Comedy drama. Next we have is Teenage Dolls. Teenage Zombies, not Teenage Dolls. Teenage Zombies. Horror sci-fi. A crazed female scientist uses nerve gas to turn local teenagers into her unquestioning slaves. Teenage Zombies. This movie is scary, it's horror and sci-fi. Next up we have is The Battle of the Sexes, featuring Peter Sellers, comedy. Angela Barrows, an accomplished business analyst from the U.S., attempts to contemporize in the late McPherson's tweet factory, shaking the very foundation of a men-only company. The Battle of the Sexes. The Mouse That Roared. An impoverished backward nation declares a war on the United States of America, hoping to lose, but things don't go according to plan. The Mouse That Roared. They're taking over the country in an invasion of laughs. The Best of Everything. Drama and romance. an expose of the lives and loves of Madison Avenue working girls and their higher ups. The best of everything. Hope Lang, Stephen Boyd, Susie Parker, Martha Heyer, and Diane Baker. The Five Pennies. Biography, drama, and music. Danny Kaye cuts loose with his trademark musical clowning. Louis Setchmo Armstrong plays his horn and croons in all that famed gnarling granite voice. The Five Pennies. Next up we have is The Giant Behemoth. Horror and sci-fi. Marine atomic tests cause changes in the ocean's ecosystem, resulting in dangerous blobs of radiation and the resurrection of a dormant dinosaur that threatens London. The Giant Behemoth. Next up we have is The Oregon Trail, drama and western. In 1846, a newspaperman joins an Oregon Trail wagon train to verify rumors about the U.S. government sending troops disguised as settlers there in order to claim Oregon. The Oregon Trail, starring Fred MacMurray. He sure was busy back in the 50s. The Rabbit Trap. This is a happy picture. Job or family. The perennial conflict is depicted in this drama about a draftsman able to free himself from the job for a very overdue family vacation. The Rabbit Trap, featuring Ernest Borgnine. The Scapegoat, featuring Betty Davis and Alec Guinness. An English schoolteacher meets his lookalike, a French count, and unwillingly swaps identities with him. The Scapegoat. This movie is great. You'll love it. Crime, mystery, and thriller. The Shaggy Dog. Comedy, family, and fantasy. A teenage boy is cursed with periodically turning into a sheepdog. The Shaggy Dog. This is a Walt Disney film, and you'll love it. Again, featuring Fred MacMurray. Next up we have is the thriller, horror, sci-fi, The Wasp Woman. The head of a major cosmetics company experiments on herself with a youth formula made from royal jelly extracted from wasps. But the formula's side effects have deadly consequences. Look at the movie poster. Look at the face of that wasp. Look, it's a beautiful face on an ugly wasp body. The Wreck of Mary Dear. Adventure, crime, and drama. A disgraced merchant marine officer elects to stay aboard his sinking cargo ship in order to prove the vessel was deliberately scuttled, and as a result, vindicates his good name. The Wreck of the Mary Dear. The Bat. Horror, mystery, and thriller. A crazed killer known as the Bat is on the loose in a mansion full of people. Featuring Vincent Price. This movie is scary, a lot of kills and jump scare. Next up we have is The Devil's Disciple. Comedy, history, and romance. The black sheep of a family and the local minister discover their true vocations during the Revolutionary War. The Devil's Disciple. One devil of a motion picture. Next up we have is The Head. A scientist invents a serum that keeps a dog's head alive after its body dies. The Head. Horror and sci-fi. This movie is creepy and evil, but it's good. So if you like creepy and evil movies, you'll like The Head. Remember the movie Monster? And this is called Manster. Horror and sci-fi. An American journalist stationed in Japan is given a mysterious injection by a mad scientist, turning him into a murderous, two-headed monster. Manster. Next up we have is the classic The Mummy, 1959 version. In 1895, British archaeologists find and open the tomb of Egyptian princess Annika with nefarious consequences. Adventure, horror, The Mummy. Next up we have is The Scavengers. Adventure, crime, and drama. This low-budget Asian-set adventure concerns the reformed smuggler Stuart Allison finds his missing wife Marion in Hong Kong. Adventure, crime, and drama. The Scavengers. If you like adventure, crime, and drama, this movie is for you. Next up, The Tingler, horror. An obsessed pathologist discovers and captures a parasitic creature that grows when fear grips its host. The Tingler. The equipment to guard against attack by the Tingler. Next up we have is They Came to Cordura, adventure drama in history. An army major himself, guilty of cowardice, is asked to recommend soldiers for the Congressional Medal of Honor during the Mexican border incursion of 1916. They came to Cordura. The Young Lad. An American gunslinger kills a Mexican man in California immediately after the Mexican-American War. The killer is arrested and put on trial for murder. The Young Lad. Next up we have is The 30-Foot Bride of Candy Rock, the last film of Lou Costello. In one of his rare performances without Bud Abbott, Lou Costello plays a rubbish collector and mentor. When radiation in a nearby cave turns his girlfriend into a giant. The 30-Foot Bride of Candy Rock. Two Men in Manhattan. Crime, drama, and thriller. A French UN delegate has disappeared into thin air, sending reporter Moreau and hard-drinking photographer Delmas on an assignment to find them. Two Men in Manhattan. Up Periscope. Action, drama, and romance. In 1942, Navy Lieutenant Kenneth Braden from the underwater demolition team is sent to a Japanese island to photograph secret radio codes. Up Periscope. Next up we have is The Young Philadelphians, drama. A promising lawyer tries to handle his social and professional problems while climbing the ranks in Philadelphia. Next up we have is the classic, A Hole in the Head. Frank Sinatra, Edward G. Robinson. Comedy drama. Widower Tony is trying to keep a small Miami hotel afloat while raising a 12-year-old son. He's all forced to ask his married brother Mario for help. A Hole in the Head. A Summer Place, drama and romance. A self-made businessman rekindles a romance with a former flame, while their two teenage children begin a romance of their own with drastic consequences for both couples. A Summer Place. Battle of the Coral Sea, action, drama, and romance. In 1942, submarine commander Jeff Conway secretly photographs Japanese aircraft carriers in the Coral Sea, but his submarine is damaged and he's forced to surrender. Battle of the Coral Sea, the most amazing saga of the most decisive battle in Navy history. Carry On Teacher. Pupils run amok at Maudlin Street School in an attempt to hang on to their headmaster. He has applied for a new job, but the students like him and don't want to lose him. Carry On Teacher. This movie is great. A lot of fun. Count Your Blessings. Comedy, drama, and romance. Grace hastily marries a French aristocrat during World War II, but is separated by circumstances from him for almost 9 years. Count Your Blessings. Deborah Kerr, Rosanna Brazzi, and Maurice Chevalier. Day of the Outlaw, drama and western. Blasé Starlet is a rancher at odds with homesteaders when outlaws hold up the small town. Day of the Outlaws. If you like dramas and western, you're going to love Day of the Outlaw. Next up we have is The Diary of Anne Frank, biography, drama, and family. During World War II, a teenage Jewish girl named Anne Frank and her family are forced into hiding in the Nazi-occupied Netherlands. This movie is sad, riveting, and it's a true story. Don't Give Up the Ship, comedy. During the 1950s, a military panel grills junior officer John Paul Steckler to find the whereabouts of a Navy destroyer that he temporarily commanded during World War II and is missing. Don't Give Up the Ship, featuring the legendary Jerry Lewis. Edge of Eternity, crime, drama, and mystery. In the 1950s, Arizona Deputy Sheriff Lee Martin is pressured by his community to solve a string of mysterious murders around a mining ghost town in the Grand Canyon. Edge of Eternity. Cornell Wilde, Victoria Shaw, Edge of Eternity. Escort West. An ex-Confederate officer and his young daughter traveling west rescue two women survivors of an Indian attack. Escort West, featuring Victor Mature. You'll love it, it's a Western. Next up we have is Girls Town, drama. Silver is a troubled teenage girl sent to a Catholic reform school where she has trouble fitting in. Girls Town. You'll love it. I love these teen movies. You'll love it. Check out Girls Town. Next up we have is Green Mansion, adventure, drama, and romance. A young man in the jungles of Venezuela meets a strange girl of the forest and falls in love with her. Audrey Hepburn and Anthony Perkins, Green Mansion. Next up we have is Jetstorm, thriller. Sir Richard Attenborough plays Ernest Tilley, a man who lost his daughter in a hit-and-run accident. He tracks down the man responsible for the accident and boards the same plane, threatening them all. Jetstorm. This movie is about revenge, and you want to root for the good guy. King of the Wild Stallions. A young widow and her son on an isolated ranch find themselves being protected by a wild stallion. Western. King of the Wild Stallions. This is a feel-good movie with George Montgomery. Last Train from Gun Hill, drama and western. A marshal tries to bring the son of an old friend, an autocratic cattle baron, to justice for his role in the rape and murder of the marshal's Native American wife. The Last Train from Gun Hill, with Kirk Douglas and Anthony Quinn. Libel. A shell-shocked World War II veteran with memory problems is accused of being an imposter by a former comrade. Drama and mystery. Libel. Olivia de Havilland and Dirk Bogarde. You'll love this movie. Look Back in Anger. The audience was jolted as if they'd been sitting for 2 hours in an electric chair. A disillusioned, angry university graduate comes to terms with his grudge against middle-class life and values. Look Back in Anger. Middle of the Night, drama. A widowed businessman becomes obsessed with one of his employees, the divorcee's Betty Pricer. Middle of the Night. Kim Novak and Frederick March. Drama. Next up we have is Never So Few, drama and war. During World War II, the American OSS mounts covert operations with the native Kachin against the Japanese army in the jungles of Burma. Never So Few. Frank Sinatra, Gina Lollobrigida, and Steve McQueen. Next up we have is No Name on the Bullet, drama and western. When hired killer John Gant rides into Lordsburg, the townsfolk become paranoid as each leading citizen has enemies capable of using the services of a professional killer. No Name on the Bullet. Audie Murphy, John Evans, and Charlie Drake. Northwest Frontier. Lauren Bacall, Herbert Lom, Kenneth Moore. Adventure drama. Set on the northwest frontier of colonial India in 1905, a British Army officer, Captain Scott, is sent to rescue a 5-year-old Indian prince. Northwest Frontier. On the Beach. Drama, romance, and sci-fi. After a global nuclear war, the residents of Australia must come to terms with the fact that all life will be destroyed in a matter of months. On the Beach. Next up we have is Our Man in Havana, comedy, crime, and drama. Burl Ives, Alec Guinness, Maureen O'Hara, Ernie Kovacs, Noel Coward, Ralph Richardson, and Joe Morrow. Jim Wormwood, who is a vacuum cleaner salesman, participates as an agent in the British Secret Service, but soon realizes his plans are lying to get him into trouble. Porgy and Bess, drama, musical, and romance. A woman whose past is scorned by nearly everyone around her meets a man who loves her regardlessly, if everyone else would allow them to. Porgy and Bess. Pork Chop Hill. Pork Chop Hill, drama and war. During the Korean War peace talks, U.S. troops fight to retake a hill from the Communist Chinese forces. Pork Chop Hill, featuring Gregory Peck. The Law. Comedy, crime, and drama. Illicit passions pervade an Italian town, where men gather nightly for the cynical game of the law. Where the hot winds blow. Next up we have is the film The Journey. Drama, romance, and war. A British woman trying to escape Hungary with her freedom fighter lover and a group of Westerners as the Soviet Union moves to crush the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. The Journey. Deborah Kerr and Yul Brynner. Next up we have is The Mating Game. Comedy and romance. An uptight IRS agent is ordered to investigate a rural family in debt to the government, but the family, including lovely daughter Mariette, help loosen him up. The Mating Game. Ride Lonesome. Drama and western. A bounty hunter, played by Randolph Scott, escorts a killer, played by James Best, to be tried for murder, but allows the man's outlaw brother, Lee Van Cleef, to catch up with them to have a showdown. Ride Lonesome. Solomon and Sheba. Drama, history, and romance. After becoming king of ancient Israel, Solomon faces threats coming from his jealous, dispossessed brother Adonijah, the Egyptian pharaoh and the scheming queen of Sheba. Next up we have is Tarzan's Great Adventure. Action, adventure, and family. 4 British villains raid a settlement to obtain explosives for use in a diamond mine. In doing so, they nearly destroy the settlement. Zoe and Tarzan pursues them to their mine. Tarzan's Greatest Adventure. You'll love Tarzan, you'll love this movie. The Devil's Disciple. One Devil of a motion picture. Comedy, history, and romance. The black sheep of a family and local minister discover their true vocations during the Revolutionary War. Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, and Laurence Olivier. Next up we have is The Miracle. Drama, music, and romance. During the Napoleonic era, in Spain, a young postulant called Teresa falls in love with a handsome British captain, Michael Stewart. The Miracle. If you love miracles, you love this movie, The Miracle. Next up we have is The Sound and the Fury. Joanne Woodward, Margaret Leighton, and Yul Brynner. Drama focusing on a family of Southern aristocrats who are trying to deal with the dissolution of their clan and the loss of its reputation, faith, fortunes, and respect. The Sound and the Fury. The St. Louis Bank Robbery. Crime, drama, and thriller. A gang's plans for a St. Louis bank robbery are complicated when the sister of one of the thieves starts voicing her well-founded suspicions. Never before in police annals, never before in film history. The Wild and the Innocent. Western. In Wyoming, mountain trapper Yancey goes to the nearest town to trade his pelts, but gets in trouble when he tries to save runaway dance hall girl Rosalie from her shameful job. Next up we have is The FBI Story. Crime, drama, and history. A dedicated FBI agent recalls the agency's battle against the Klan, organized crime, and communist spies. The FBI Story. Next up we have is the classic thriller, drama, The Hangman, drama, and western. U.S. Marshal Boulevard comes to a small border town to identify and arrest a fugitive, but the whole town seems determined to prevent the marshal from doing his job. The Hangman. Tina Louise, Bess Parker, and Jack Lord. The Wonderful Country, romance and western. An honorable drifter constantly on the run finds his enemies closing in around him. The Wonderful Country, Robert Mitchum and Julie London. Next up we have is the film Tiger Bay, crime, drama, and thriller. A 12-year-old tomboy witnesses the murder of a young woman by her Polish merchant marine boyfriend, but bonds with him and thwarts the police in their investigation. Next up we have is the film drama and western Warlock. A famous gunman becomes the marshal of Warlock to end the gang's rampages, but is met with some opposition by a former gang member turned deputy sheriff who wants to follow the only legal methods. Warlock. Next up we have is the film Yellowstone Kelly. In 1870s, in the Sioux territory south of the Missouri Trapper, an Indian Scott Luther Yellowstone Kelly is hired by the army at Fort Buford, but runs in trouble with the Sioux. Next up we have is Yesterday's Enemy. In World War II, during the Japanese invasion of Burma, the lost remnant of a British Army Brigade headquarters, led by the ruthless Captain Alan Langford, escapes through the jungle towards the Brits. Yesterday's Enemy. That wraps up all the films of the 50s. Those were the best films that we loved that you need to watch of 1959. What other movies did you watch from 1959 that I may have missed? If I missed any movies, let me know below and we'll see if we can cover them at another video. But 1959 was a great year for movies, and obviously the 50s are over. We're going to be starting up the 60s decade of movies and horror movies and so on. But what do you think about the 50s? The 50s was a lot of fun. Movies were now more in color, a lot of teen movies, a lot of sci-fi, fantasy, horror, drama, war, crime, action, adventure. 1950s had it all, baby. Alright? If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. I'm Tony. Thanks for watching Yesteryear TV. And I'll see you all in the next video.